Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani from Aryabhatta College, University of Delhi. Welcome to this series of Introduction to C++ Programming, and in our previous lectures we have covered basics of C++ program. In this lecture also we will be proceeding with further going with that topic only, which is basics of C++ program or basic elements which form a C++ program. So we have covered in depth what actually is a variable. Now let me start with the data type thing, what actually data types are, and how are we going to understand these data types. So looking at C++ data type, I have already told you that these are basically divided into three categories. One is structured, another one is address data types, and one is simple data types. And today we will be covering simple data types, and that too integral data types and the floating point data types. So integral data types, when we see, is having the first thing it is having is integer. So any example, it could be 0, 78 or minus 6729 or something of that sort, but positive integers do not need a plus sign, and no commas are to be used within an integer. Commas are to be used for separating items in a list, not the numbers in an integer. So int is that data type. It is going to take 2 bytes, and it is having a specific range of 32,768 to minus 32,767. So it is going to take values in that particular range only. Then apart from that, we have one data type which is Boolean data type, or we know the common name for Boolean data type is bool. It can have only two values, one is true, another one is false, and as true and false are there, you all must be kind of guessing it that it is there to manipulate logical expressions or Boolean expressions, and these true and false values are known as logical values. And one thing which is to be noted down here is bool, true and false are reserved words. Then within the this your data type of integral, there is the smallest integer data type, which is character, and it is denoted by the keyword char. CHAR. Basically it is used for characters, any type of characters which are printable characters. You can see on your keyboard any letters, any digits, or any special symbol, and every character, when you are going to assign the value to a character variable, the character has to be enclosed in single quotes. For example, small a, capital A, then you have asterisk, plus, dollar, ampersand, and so on and so forth. And when I am talking about the blank space, yes, that is also a character, and it is written by using single inverted commas with a space left between these single quotes. So you have character. So we can have, for the declaration purpose, I have already shown character X or character whatever the name of the variables is. And if I am saying character ch, so ch is the name of the variable, equals to a small a within the single inverted comma. So ch is going to be a variable whose value is small a. So that kind of character variable we can always declare and use. Then we have real numbers. Real numbers basically those numbers who are having which are having point with decimal notation, decimal within them, decimal values. C++ uses scientific notation to represent these real numbers, or we can also say that C++ uses floating point notation to represent any real number. It is having the simplest data type is available is float, whose range is from minus 3.4 e 10 to the power 38 to 3.4 10 to the power 38, and the size of any float variable, that means whenever I am declaring a float variable, memory of 4 bytes is going to be reserved for this, because size of the float variable, float data type I can say, is 4 bytes. Then for higher values or bigger values than the range of float, we have double. So double also represents any real number starting from the range of -1.7 10 to the power 308 to 1.7 10 to the power 308. I mean, it's a huge range, and it is going to take 8 bytes. And on most new compilers of C++, data types long, double and double both are going to take kind of same values and these things. Then we have this floating point, double and long double. Long double is also same as double, and within integer we have seen character, integer and bool. So after data types, now let me cover operators. If I am talking about operators, as the name indicates, it is basically a particular sign of an operation. For example, we have plus, minus, multiplication, division and modulus operators. All these operators are arithmetic operators. All these 5, plus, minus, multiplication, division and modulus operator for taking the remainder. But with operators we have to be careful that with which with which kind of operands these operators can be used. So basically your plus, minus, multiplication, division can be used with integrals and floating point data types both, and these operators can be unary or binary, or it can have operators can be of tertiary type. That means a unary, binary or tertiary operator means the number of, it depends on the number of operands. For example, if I am saying a plus b, so this plus is having 2 operands, so it is a binary operator. Similarly, your subtraction, a minus b, a multiplied by b, and so on and so forth. So most common operators you can see are binary operators, but in C++ we can have unary operator and tertiary operator also. Unary operator is, for example, I am going to write a plus plus, the plus plus as we are writing it in C++. So a plus plus, this is incrementing the value of a by 1. Now this plus plus is a unary operator because we have all used only one operand with this, and yes, definitely we will also encounter the usage of tertiary operator, which is the conditional operator, in the upcoming lectures. So depending upon the number of operands, these operators can be unary operator, binary operator or tertiary operator. Not only the type of operator, but with any type of operators or operations, if I am going to say, there involves one idea of associativity and precedence. So which operators are going to get the precedence or priority over others, that we need to see. All operations, as the simple rule of mathematics is, all operations which are inside the parentheses or brackets are evaluated first, obviously. Then your plus, multiplication, division and modulus operator, which is denoted by percentage sign, are at the same level of precedence and are evaluated next. So that means first we will solve the bracket, then we will look for multiplication, division and modulus operator, and after that we will solve plus and minus if they all encounter kind of within a single expression. So bracket first, then multiplication, division and modulus, and plus and minus when the operators are on the same level. That means your multiplication, division and modulus are on the same level. The operation is performed from for, we can say, according to their associativity. So when operators are on the same level, most operators here are performed or executed from left to right, and this left to right is known as the associativity of the operator. So all these operators are left associative, I can say. So left to right associativity is there. So first we will follow the precedence, and with the same level of precedence we will go for solving the expression from left to right. Now coming to what are the type of expression. The type of expression is could be expression could be of a single type or it could be of the mixed type, depending upon what operands, what kind of values it is operating upon. Let us say if all the operands are integer, expression is called an expression will be called as an integral expression, and obviously as all the operands are integer, it will yield or it will produces an output of type integer, which is a simple example 2 plus 3 multiplied by 5, in which we will be taking multiplication first and the result will be summed up with 2. Simple enough. Now if we are considering this type of expression, and we can see if all the operands are floating type, so expression is called a floating point expression, and a floating point expression yields real numbers, and this is something of sort 12.8 multiplied by 17.5 minus some real value and so on and so forth. So one type of operands, the value is the answer will be of that type of data type only. But if expression is a mixed expression, that means it is having operands of different data type, that means it is containing integers as well as floating points both. So mixed expression could be 2 plus 3.5 or 6 divided by 4 plus 3.9. So it is having values of integer as well as of type floating point also. Now what kind of result it is going to produce. So as far as a mixed expression is considered, if evaluation rule says entire expression is evaluated first of all according to the precedence rule that is there. If it is single type of operand, it is evaluated according to the type of operand. For example, if the operator has both type of operand. Now if we are coming to the mixed expression, that means that expression is having both type of operand. So what is going to happen, an integer will be changed to floating point type or floating point data type, I can say. Then the operator is evaluated and result is going to be a floating point. Now let me try to explain this with the help of an example. If I am saying, let us say 3 plus 2.5, so 3 is an integer, 2.5 are floating. So 3 will be converted to 3.0, and then now integer is converted to floating point. So 3.0 plus 2.5, then you are going to have your answer as 5.5, which is a floating point value. So these are the evaluation rules that, and the whole expression is obviously evaluated according to the rules of precedence, and associativity is also taken care of. Now whenever I am saying a mixed expression, it is having an integer value and a floating point value, and this integer value is again converted into a floating point value. What actually is happening? What happening is one data type is converted into another data type, and this is known as, I can say, typecasting. Now this typecasting could be implicit or it could be explicit when done explicitly by using the cast operator. So implicit type conversion is when value of one type is automatically changed to another type, and the explicit typecasting is when a typecast operator is used for the changing the type of one data to another. So here you can see the list or examples of the expressions which are converted into other data type. For example, if I want to convert the 7.9 or any other real number value to integer, I will explicitly write static underscore cast within the angle brackets integer 7.9, and this will evaluate to 7, because 7.9 will be casted to of data type in integer. Then in the next example 3.3 again to integer has been cast, and if you can see the third example, so third example says static underscore cast double 25. So double is basically a floating point variable. I am talking about floating point data type I am talking about. So this will say 25.5. 0, and if I am going to give an expression within the brackets in order to change the value, the result of the expression will be typecasted. For example, in the fourth scenario, if you can see, static underscore cast double 5 plus 3. So, this 5 plus 3 will be evaluated first, that comes as 8, and then this 8 value will be changed to 8.0, which is a double value. So, in this way explicit casting can be used whenever it is required, or there can be some kind of implicit casting which we have seen in the previous example. Now, what are the ways to insert data into a variable? So, data into a variable can be simply assigned by using the assignment statement, which is equals to, for example, I am saying x equals to 10, and please mind it that x is already declared. That means x is compiler is already familiar with x, saying that integer x is the statement which is already there, and then at the later stage you are saying x is equals to 10. So, integer x is the declaration, and then x is equals to 10 is the assignment. We can always combine these two statements, saying that integer x is equals to 10. So, this is one way of inserting or placing the data into a variable by using the assignment statement, where the assignment operator is equals to. And the second idea is to use the read statement, or to use the input statement, which is the statement of cin. So, now let us say the assignment statement takes the form variable equals to expression. So, instead of simple value, it could be expression also. For example, I can say x is equals to 30 plus 3. So, that is 33. So, here instead of direct writing 33, I have given an expression that is perfectly valid. So, expression is evaluated and the resultant value will be assigned to the variable on the left hand side, and here, as I have told you, C++ is equals to is called the assignment operator. So, variables can be initialized when we are declaring them, or they can be initialized at a later point of time. For example, integer first equals to 13, second equals to 10. So, basically these two variables are there, which of the name first having value 13, second having value 10, both are of type integer. In character, we have declared a variable of data type char. The variable name is ch and the value is a blank space which is being assigned to it, and in x, which is variable of type double, the value is assigned as 12.6. Statements are given on the screen, and all variables must be initialized before they are used. So, if I am going to use x or ch anywhere in the program, they must be initialized, but it is not necessary that they should be initialized during declaration. We can initialize them later on also, but yes, before using them we need to initialize, that is a constraint. Another idea to assign values to the variable or to place values inside the variable is the use of input statement, which is cin. Please remember that the cin is always used with the along with the stream extraction operator. This stream extraction operator is denoted or represented by two continuous symbols of greater than sign, as it is shown on the screen. Now, how to use this cin? For example, m is the variable for whose value which we are looking for, or for whose value which is asked from the user. So, m is the variable, and this m variable is already declared before. So, we will be writing cin and the stream extraction operator m. So, whatever the value will be given by user will be taken by cin, and the stream extraction operator will take that particular value inside the value of m, which is already a declared variable. So, this statement cin m is going to cause computer to get a value of the associated data type and places that value inside the variable m. associated data type here basically means whatever data type was declared for M. If we have declared float or double, we are expecting a real value, or we have declared it as integer, we are expecting an integer value. So that's the meaning of associated data type here. So Cin double extraction extreme extraction operator, which is double use of greater than, is the sign for using, or is the syntax for using Cn statements. Now with Cin, it also allows more than one variable to be taken or to be read at a time. For example, if we are working with a kind of mathematical mensuration problem, and we need some feet and inches. Remember, feet and inches are variable here, and these variables of, let's say, type integer, and we want to take the value of feet and inches, both the variables, in one statement. We can use Cin stream extraction operator feet, extreme extraction operator inches, as it is shown on the screen. So what actually happens is, two integers are expected as input from keyboard, and when user gives these two integers, Cin is going to place them in variables feet and inches respectively. So whatever you are going to give initially will be placed in feet, and the second value which is inputted from keyboard is going to be placed inside the variable inches. So not only one variable but multiple variables you can read using Cin statement. The complementary of Cin statement is the Cout statement, which is, we have seen, is the statement if we want to print the value of any variable or whatever we want to show or print on the screen. Cout is the statement. This is also used with the extreme operator, but the operator is reversed here. It is the double usage of less than sign, Cout M. This is basically an output statement where Cout extraction stream operator and M is an output statement. Now there with Cin we have seen the stream extraction operator. Here it is the stream insertion operator, which is the operator less than sign usage twice. The expression or the variable, we can say expression is evaluated, or the variable value is taken and its value is printed at the current cursor position on the screen. So if you want to print something, Cout is the statement, and if you want to take any value or read any value from user through keyboard, Cin is the statement. So within this lecture we have seen the Cout and Cin statements of C++ and other similar basic structure and basic structural elements of C++ program. Thank you for a patient hearing.